Tech 1 students, this week we are going to use the skills that we have learned over the past few weeks in Gravit Designer and create a logo. That's right, you are going to create a symbol that represents you, that is your brand. So the big idea is logos, and the essential question, how can I use vector paths and other graphic arts tools to create a personal logo? Well, here's how. You're going to use the shape, path, and text tools in Gravit Designer to create a personal logo. And then why are you going to learn it? So that you can create a logo that represents who you are or one of your primary interests. And how are you going to learn it? I can do this by watching this video, reading a bunch of logos, and by creating, that is building your logo using the tools in Gravit Designer. But first, before we continue, what is a logo? So a logo is a symbol that is made up of text and or images that identifies a business or organization. A good logo shows that company, a good logo shows what that company or organization does and or what its values are. But what makes a good logo design? Well, an effective logo should be simple. It should have clean, clear lines, shapes, and text. It's easy to read and recognize. Memorable, well, again, it's easy to recognize. It is something that when you see it, it snaps into your mind right away. It should be timeless. And what that means is it's not tied to any immediate trend or fad, that it is just as easy to relate to next year as it is this year. The logo should also be versatile. That means it can be used in a variety of ways. For instance, it could be in big, bold print on a shirt, or it could be in a small little area on a letter. It could be part of a website. It could be on a business card. It could be on a coffee mug, so on and so forth. And then the logo should be appropriate. And by that, I don't just mean like appropriate for school. It should be suitable for your business or your organization's purpose. Now, what is it that you want to avoid when you make your logo? Too much. You want to avoid images that are too complicated or that have too much text. Keep it simple. The simpler, the better for a logo. Too many colors or colors that clash. Colors should be comfortable to the eye and make the logo easy to see. An artistic word would be complementary. The color should be complementary. And sometimes, like if you've ever seen some kinds of greens and reds when they're on top of each other, it looks like the red is kind of shimmering or hovering. You want to avoid clashes like that. Your fonts, that is the style of your text, that are hard to read, avoid those. Choose a font that is interesting, but that is easy to read and goes with your brand. And then don't ignore the space. Negative space, that is the space in your logo where there is no color or text or image, that's okay, but be intentional with it. In many cases, the empty space is balanced symmetrically, which means that there are even amounts of empty space around the text and images that are part of your logo. Two more things. Number one, avoid using copyrighted images or phrases. So if your name begins with M, don't use the McDonald's M. Your logo should be an original work, not the work of someone else or of another company. And then when you are done with your logo, we want to keep it, make sure it is saved as a vector graphic, that is an SVG file. The vector graphics are scalable, so that logo, if it needs to go on a t-shirt, it can be made big, or if it needs to go on a business card, it can be made small. but the lines stay clean no matter how big or small. So always save a copy as a PNG, and then to turn it in for this assignment, export it as a PNG. You guys, there's a design brief as part of this assignment. If you're also in my Tech 2 class, you know what that is by now. This one is very simple. You're just going to look at the criteria for making the logo, and then you're going to fill in two things in that table on the right-hand boxes. Your name, and then what is either your interest, like your hobby, or what is an organization, like a club you belong to at school maybe, that you're going to represent, that you are going to create the logo for. Put that in that box. And then below that tells you what is required for the logo assignment.